Hey guys, what's going on? Do we have time for another one of these lessons of some kind? Um, if you really want to hear about the Tower of Babel, we can. But it talks about everybody being one language at the beginning. This was, we're talking from the beginning of the stories. Everybody was in the same mindset. Everyone was in the same kind of thinking. And so here, a man is going to go out there and do his own thing. He's going to make bricks. A brick is not a stone. And slime these aren't natural things, but this is what they're given. All right. And even later on in the stories, when they go into captivity, that's all they're given is straw. And so they're given things that are not natural to do all their worshiping and everything on. Here they're building a tower that's going to reach up into heaven. Well, this is an outside approach to something that happens on our insides, and so you'll find that it's a play of words most of the time. So the one that I wanted to do now is one that was next up after we had done like Ecclesiastics and all this stuff. But you'll have to understand that this is in Ecclesiastics it talks about because there's an outside approach to the stories, and they make it very obvious. And there's an inside approach. It's not as obvious, but perhaps no. If you didn't know what you were listening for, like in Ecclesiastics, it starts off with a good name is better than fine perfume or ointment or something like that. So somehow or another, the good name is something that happens on the inside, and perfume is being used as what's on the outside. And so when we get into playing just the very first couple of scriptures for the Song of Solomon, we find that here it is that's saying that this is better than the name. It's the opposite because it's an outside thing. It says she can smell the ointment and this and that. It's so much. So it's the outside approach to things. And plus there's also a code in here where she calls herself black, and she is black. And of course, this makes a lot of Bible people a little crazy, not really, but she's allowed to be black because she's representing this, just like the daughters in here. She has the daughters of Jerusalem. They are under her control too because she's kind of being punished by her mother. She has to tend everybody else's vines, but her own, she's not able to tend her own. And so this is the basis of the story, is that she, just like with Solomon, he'd rather go and tend to these others than to tend to this one. But he knows in his mind that it would be the perfect mate for her. Just him, what they've got together, they would be perfect together. And so that's what the story's all about. It's like an unrequited business, because that in our Bible, we're told that we're not connected to this, that we are not connected, but it's what we are searching for. We want this connection. It's the perfect thing for us. Yet at the same time, it's a wall between us and it. And so the story of this queen, they're both dreaming of each other, and like a gazelle or something like that, he comes across the mountains. He gets up there and he's looking through little lattice works, to try to see her. It's beautiful. So she comes to answer the door, and he's gone. He's right back into the city. He disappears. So she goes after, and she chases after him, and then she comes and finds him. Winds up, he's passed out, and the daughters of Zion show up. That's the daughters. Yeah, the daughters of Zion. Check it out. because they use both. You have to understand one's an outside thing. Yeah, Zion is an inside thing. It can then, when it comes down to it, the ones that are of Jerusalem, those daughters there, that's an outside thing. And so you'll find how it's working because you're either inside or outside of this. And the story is about trying to get a connection. And when she's black and comely and stuff like that, that's an outside situation. And it just shows that she's under the control of her husband. And we already know this because we're not too far away from the beginning of the book where the female is totally submissive to the male. That's just where we've been left off. That's how it goes. And so it shows that his left hand is underneath her head while his right hand, goes about, taking care of things, So what you're really looking for is it should be his right hand should be underneath her head. All right. And that would be an inside thing. But because she's representing this black, she's representing what is the strange woman. And she has to sit around and wait for him to finally make his plea. Like, I'm coming, hello. And that's the way the story goes. And it's constantly going on because all of us are in this situation. Everybody on earth can be this. They could say, oh man, I just know what's right for me. But the lilies of the field are so much better. And so there's some wonderful, not so wonderful. They make her out to be this. We're gonna make her like she's some kind of a building of some kind, and her titties are gonna be this, and her neck's gonna be made of that. So when you see the picture that they make, it just not very beautiful at all. But she, when it comes down to it, she is the mother of us all. She is Jerusalem, and she is the big city that shows up. And the city has room for everyone and everything, and there's no doors and no walls and no anything like that. This is the New Jerusalem that's spoke of in the Bible, and this is her. This is like when we're talking about coming down. It's like the dove itself. The dove comes down. It lights. It's the down. It has to come. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from up there somewhere. So if we want, what I'd like to do is just to show you, let's just do one chapter of this, okay? And of the Song of Solomon, and we're going to do it in this world thing, all right? We're just going to try and see how it works, because I have this belief now that it's all written, the entire Bible is written from beginning to end in this 4. And I know that now. I know for sure. Well, I don't know if you can see anything. What's not written on here are the color codes, because remember, this also represents, it's 4. So anything 4, the 4 horsemen. We have black. This is the darkness. This is if this was Earth, and which it is, our mind, all right. But if you were to take it and then plant yourself out in the middle of space, there'd be Earth. And the way it is this is where the sun rises over here, and it's the black. So it's the way that it works, that we have the light coming from over there. That's where the sun rises. This is where Judah. This is where that's where people camp to the east. But this is sunset. So it's sunrise and sunset. All right. So this is black. This is black to the intellect. All right. This is also Cain. All right. Cain kills Abel. All right. That's what that means. Abel's is the spiritual side. So that's more of that information. So you see, like red is the second part. That's when that's our emotions and stuff like that. We got to part the Red Sea and stuff like that. That's red. Our flesh becomes a pale color, or bruise. That's what this one here is, the flesh one. And then the last one is white. This is the white is always you when you finally make it over to the other side. Everyone's given them white garments. All right. All right. So that's about color. All right. So the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. All right. Let him kiss me with kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Because of the Savior of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore, do the virgins love thee. Draw me, we will run after thee. The King hath brought me into his chambers. We'll be glad and rejoice in thee, and will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. That's the first four, all right? So here we got that idea that, you know, the ointments and stuff like that is, let's see, because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth, all right? So kiss my mouth. So we're talking, these are all outside things that are going on. And so that's why in a few minutes you're going to hear about this being, I am black but comely. O ye daughters of Jerusalem. That's daughters of Jerusalem. That's the outside. Remember, there's two trees inside of you. All right, you got the one that you eat off of that makes you dead. All right, this is what the tree that Eve eats from, makes him eat from, and it kills you. That's the left side. So on the right side is the one, this is the better tree, you know, but there's two trees, all right, in the situations, and this is how this is worked. So when we're with the stranger, she is black because it's the man controls her, all right? Okay, so look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. This is number 6. Number 6 will be right here. She's talking about her own. She's her. So what happens is she's been turned into a slave. All right, and she has to take over everybody else's business, but she's not able to do her own. That's where this would be. That's what this would be all about. Number 6. All right, and then tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, and where thou makest flock to rest at noon. And why should I be the one that turneth aside by the flocks, and by my companions, of thy companions, or, you know, of thy companions? All right, number 7. And then 8. If thou know not, thou fairest among women, go thy way forth by thy footsteps of the flock, and feed thy kids beside the shepherd's tents. So it's been ordered to go in and take care of other people. And so, you know, it's just practice, because what happens is that's the kids that's outside of people's tents. So she's still being used. This is kind of cool. That is the spot of that female part, is to go and make sure that she has poured water for the kids that are outside of men's tents. It's just beautifully, you know, if you just had to understand that, that's the job of this woman. They're always looking to find that kid, that child that's being brought forth through this meditation situation. So you just think about a whole mess of tents going down the road, and all the little kids that are outside, they're waiting to get a little feed. All right, it's really kind of pretty. I have compared thee, O my love, to a company of horses and Pharaoh's chariots. That's 9. Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels, and thy neck with chains of gold. This is where you would normally have your chakra system. So It's an outside reference. Her neck is with a bunch of gold. All right. We will make thee borders of gold with studs of silver. That's number 11. And while the king sitteth at his table, my spinknard, which is some kind of stinky thing, sendeth forth the smell thereof. All right. Then we got a bundle of myrrh is my well loved, is my well beloved unto me. That means, I think it means it's more like it's kind of on the humorous side. But anyways, my beloved is unto me as a cluster of camphor in the vineyards of such and such. All right. Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes. This is number 16. No, it's number 15. 15 is put together as 6. Below, thou art fair, my love. Below, behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes. It's kind of pretty. All right. Behold, thou art fair, my beloved, yea, pleasant. Also, our bed is green. The beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters of fir. All right, so that's an 8, so it's a strong thing. This is a dream. This is a dream. This is what someone wants to happen. This is what that gal, she wants to happen. And she puts out this little smell, which is like, she'll tell you later on that her tits are like pomegranates and this and that, But she's trying to get him to be aroused in some way. She's tired of being one left behind all the time. I have to go out there and feed other people's vineyards and tend to other people's things. I want to take care of my man. I'll take care of him. I can't wait till he wakes up and does it. So that's the whole story. He never wakes up. He never wakes up. They come so close together. They're like this. They come real close together. But as soon as she answers the door, he's gone. He disappears. So cool. But that's the Song of Solomon. It tells us the same thing that we've been finding out one scripture after another here. And, from book to book, things are different in some ways, but we're being told that we have first got to do our works, and that really means trespassing. That means following the ladies in the field, going after that black, comely woman. Because she's black. Remember, it's because she's controlled by the western side of things. That's what happens. We want her to be white. When we finally get real mama, when we get our real mother going on, everything goes white. Even Jesus comes flying in on his horse, white horse. So, just to show how the color works and things, and how the story is basically just what we've read in the first chapter. It just repeats itself kind of over and over and over again, but it shows it just never comes in. And she's got so many beautiful fruits to give, and she's got so much, and then her brothers say she's got no tits, She said, we're going to have to fix her, We'll make her into a building, he says. So that's where this idea that you can never get in, she becomes this, since she's never going to get married, she's never going to get together, we might as well make a building out of her, fix her so that no one, and put a big wall up so no one can ever get in there. It's just, it's sad. And so, when we know this, we know that we've done this, it should be our number one priority, is to try to get over to this other side, and help out with this light business, because even though it was hidden from people for thousands and years and eons, here I'm going to talk to you right now as your helper. We want to get out there and make as many people part of this as possible. And no one has to be jealous of anyone when you find out. Tell people that really love God and have some really hard, strong beliefs, to put their own their own understanding aside so that they can accept this just one time and see what happens, you know. And, you know, I can guarantee you nothing terrible is going to happen, you know. Nothing negative or nothing like that, you know. But there is a fear of God that has to be reached. And that generally means that I really believe in God, right? Okay, you guys, I will chat with you later. Okay? Is this how I do it?